Hey, hello and welcome, everybody. Today is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2 o'clock Pacific, and this is episode number 24. My name is Jerry, and you're watching 3DHP. And today I've got a really super special, awesome guy on. I've got Wekster on. With no further ado, let's go ahead and bring him in. Hey, Wekster, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Really awesome.
When you said super great guy, I was like, wait, but you've invited me. Is there someone else coming?
Yep, you're the special guest. Yeah, you do awesome work. You're all over the internet, and I thought you'd be the greatest person in the world to have on here. You know, each and every week I try to find great people on, and today it's you.
Thank you.
But I'd like to say hello to a few people in chat. Let's see, Pokin, Piche, Grumpy Dude, Brian Bynes, SPC3D, Non-Pam, Betty Boop, Fred, hello, how you doing? Yeah, we got 12 people here watching on YouTube right now. We're also live on my Facebook group and my Facebook page. And I want to thank everybody out there that shared this everywhere. That's awesome. Each and every week, I try to grow and get more and more people to join in and watch and comment. And if you're watching on Facebook, click the URL above the video. And when you post a comment, we'll see your name on screen and I can show it. But anyway, if I could ask you my first question that I would, I ask everybody is what got you interested in 3D printing and how long was that?
Well, I mean, 3D printing was something that I was checking out since the beginning, but I was just waiting. I usually don't jump into anything that starts immediately because there are always some kind of problems with machines and all that. So after a few years, I actually totally forgot about 3D printing. One of my friends mentioned how he's planning to get one. So I started immediately checking out printers. And at the same time, I noticed that my colleague in the office is also looking at 3D printer. So it was kind of like a sign that I need to go into that. So I picked that fire hazard thing net as a first thing, and after a few days I jumped onto CR10 because after the first print I knew that I would like to start with that. It was just like everyone who has a 3D printer knows that feeling when you start printing something, when you start creating something. It's a really cool thing. But I didn't actually expect that I'm gonna go into any kind of modeling. My idea was like, okay, I'm gonna get a 3D printer. I'm gonna print some props because I was doing a lot of short films, and the props were always the thing I needed. So it was that kind of idea. I had no clue that I'm gonna start modeling something and go into completely different direction.
Okay, so you had your first printer and you started printing things, and then at some point you're like, I need to start designing my own products and designing your own things. And
yeah, like I started printing some like movie props, like guns, and after a while it was like, okay, this is not the only thing I'm gonna do. Like I need to do something else with it. That's just not enough. I've seen how people are doing practical prints, and I mean, by this date, like I'm doing a lot of figurines, but practical prints are still my favorite thing. Jumping into Fusion and just creating something for the office or for my kid, it's like the best thing. So I've seen someone recommended Fusion 360. I tried it, and as it's pretty simple thing to get you started with something, and you can easily create some simple stuff. So I started learning how I can make my own like guns, nerf pistols and stuff like that. So after some point it was like, okay, let's try something organic, and then I started creating my mini dudes, and it just went somewhere.
so they're mini dudes, are not called chibis, they're mini dudes.
They have a lot of different names. Some are not family friendly, so I'm not gonna mention that.
I got a Chris Wark Hockey and a Joel.
Yeah, I made those two and Noob, I think, in the same week or something like that.
Mhm.
And then I had to stop because a lot of people were asking for their versions, and already I was really going places with these three because it's not easy to get likeness with so like with minimum amount of details.
Mhm.
I had some tests where I was trying to make someone and I discarded that. I had to move to something else because I just couldn't figure it out. But usually people think like, okay, he can create everything. And they are still sending me messages. Can you make me? No, I don't want to even go in that direction. Like it's pretty hard to make that kind of stuff when you're forced to do it. So usually when I'm doing those, I think about them a lot. Some of my patrons can recommend something, and at first, it's gonna be like, no, I cannot do it because I have some kind of problems, and then the next day it's gonna hit me. Okay, this is how you can do it. So I just jump on my computer and I start, testing it. So
What kind of a tablet do you use?
I have Wacom into a SAM. That was my first one. Now I'm also using this XP Pen graphic display. Sorry. So
Nice.
that's my new thing, and I love it. Like first when I started learning ZBrush, and then you can see all the artists are using some kind of graphic displays. They're not using tablets.
Mhm.
I'm like, that's kind of pretentious. I don't need that in my life. But actually, when I tried it, I knew immediately. Okay, now it makes sense because it's so much better actually.
I have a very small tablet I bought a couple of years ago. I've never learned how to use it. It's not very big, and yet whatever you draw on the tablet, obviously it's on the screen. Where yours is all self-contained in one unit.
Graphic displays are so much better because of the hand and eye coordination. You are actually looking at your hand and the dot where the tip of the pen is. There's gonna be a line. While on the tablet, your hand is completely disconnected from your view. So it's like when you're drawing just lines, you're so much more accurate, and your lines is going to be so much better if you're just doing them on graphic display. I did so many
Is that
tests, and
tablet
you
you
can
have
see.
portable? You can go sit on the couch, watch TV, and work, or do you have to be plugged in?
No, that's just a monitor. It's not like an iPad. It's just a monitor that you can draw on. So it's connected to your computer.
Okay.
So if you like, some people are using also laptops so they can move around, but you cannot unplug it and just use that because it's just a monitor. It's not a computer.
Yeah, here's Mama just made a comment. He likes taking the mini dudes and hacking them, and here's a Chris Workhockey that he kind of modded.
So I was right. That was Llama, right?
I'm not sure. I think it was. Oh, he'll have to answer in chat. I'm not sure if he's the one that modded this, but I see he made a comment about modding. And
he does that process. We are organizing everything, and it's so much better because you're as a smaller studio. You are kind of into everything. You need to figure out everything, like entire process. Not like you're just gonna show up somewhere and everyone else is gonna do everything else. That's not how it works unless you're in Hollywood or some bigger productions. But we do TV commercials for some bigger companies in Croatia, and also I'm co-founder of a company that does game trailers.
Oh, cool.
So that's one of those things that I like to tell my mom. See, you told me that I will never do anything with games. Look at me now.
Yeah.
So yeah, those two are the things I do mostly, and modeling is now my third job because I've started a company because of that. So I'm a busy guy.
And typically, are you right now typically modeling every week, or it all depends what kind of time that you have?
I'm trying to model something every single day, at least as practice. I don't release everything. I release between 5 and 7, 8 models. That depends how motivated, how free I am. Because, like I said, with all the jobs, I need to manage my time with my family, all of that. Modeling is still something I really enjoy, and it relaxes me. That's why I'm spending so much time modeling. But like I said, I spend most of those attempts just as a practice, because I want to get faster with some of the stuff.
What programs do you like to use for your modeling?
I'm now using almost every day. I'm using ZBrush.
Mhm.
Before that, I was using Fusion 360, and sometimes for some specific things I jump into Fusion, but most of my stuff is now completely made in ZBrush.
Okay.
Even my mini dudes, they started in Fusion, and then because I couldn't do everything in Fusion, it was very limited. I couldn't do some stuff, so I was constantly trying to figure out how to connect everything. Like Fusion is great for some specific stuff, but when you want to go crazy, it doesn't work that well for me. I mean, everything works, but my logic is, I would say, different. So I need to jump into something faster. I cannot overthink it, because it's a lot of trials and errors. You try something, okay, this doesn't work like as a design, so let's quickly change it. While in Fusion, you are like, okay, this kind of looks good enough. I'm not sure that I'm gonna be able to move this line up or down. And sometimes I look at some of my earlier models and it's like, yeah, I did this thing because I was limited with software. So I switched everything to ZBrush. At the beginning, it was kind of hard because since I'm doing multi-material versions as well, Fusion was kind of easier in that segment.
Mhm.
But now I'm kind of handling everything in ZBrush. Some of the stuff is trickier to make, especially multi-material ones. I spend more time slicing them than actually modeling them.
And then about the time you think you're done, you're like, well, I should have done that, or I could do this. So you got to kind of let that not get carried away and spend too much time working on something.
Oh, let's say it like this. When I'm modeling something, I can spend between, let's say, 2 hours and 10 hours on something, and I'm gonna be satisfied with. Now I think it's I need to prepare it for 3D printing. Then the nightmare starts. Then you see all the mistakes, all the problems. You export the model, and then you are checking it through Slicer, and then you notice that there's one part that it's going below, and you could kind of tweak it so there's no support. So then you go back into the software, then you tweak that, then you need to decimate, which means that you need to reduce the amount of polygons so the model is much smaller and easier for slicers. Then you need to repeat that process a few times back and forth. Then you are kind of annoyed by that. You just want to get rid of that model, or you just leave it for the next day. And that part I would like to to avoid in the future. But ZBrush has its own logic and scale and all of that. So you need to think about everything. Like I have with mini dudes, I need to have one specific object inside the file, so I can rescale everything towards that. So that's my kind of origin point and origin scale. Because if I don't have that, my mini dudes like have completely different heights. So it's something that it's also a struggle.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and I'll pull up your Instagram account.
Okay.
And we can take a look at some pictures here. And you definitely have a lot of pictures.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff.
And if you want, I can scroll slowly. If there's things you want to talk about in specific, I can click on them.
Well, no, not really. I mean, well, like you can see, I'm every month I'm releasing few mini dudes, and I like to make busts, and also in the past few months I started creating masks. First mask I did was Sub-Zero. I actually made a bust, and one of the guys on Twitter said that I should try to make the mask of Sub-Zero into like mask. So I kind of like that idea, and now I'm constantly switching between those three things. So mini dudes, busts, and masks.
That's your current tablet there?
Yeah. That's the one. That was me actually making a tutorial for the company that sent me that graphic display. It was kind of sponsored. Don't forget AR mask. Yeah, the other day I did one Instagram filter for one of my masks. I like to try new stuff. I think that I've learned over 30 different softwares, and every day I'm using like 8.
I assume that when you make a character, like say Superman, for instance, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, you Google a picture, you find a picture you like, you put on your desktop next to ZBrush, so you have something to base your design off of, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm using there's a free software called Pure Ref, where you can just drag images like your references, and you can arrange them and zoom in, zoom out, so you can have it always on the other screen, or it can be overlaid on top of your screen, so you can just like you have few commands how it can show up. So yeah, I picked some images, but usually I like to pick something from a specific scene, because if you start Googling, let's say, some kind of actor, you'll find a bunch of different images from his entire life, and human faces are always changing. Mm-hmm. You will always recognize them because of some stuff that never changes, but most of the faces gets changed. And if you pick, let's say, a front view and side view from different years, you're gonna have problems matching those two. So it's better if you pick one scene and you pick all the references from that scene. So you know that all of that comes from the same year, and it gets so much better. Also, one of my friends, she's drawing a lot of caricatures. She told me that I shouldn't focus only on image. I should watch videos of that person, how person moves, how the person smiles, and all of that, and then I will figure out what I want to do with that person then. And it is actually, it's so much better like that.
So you're married, you have a daughter and a cat.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that later, but I see it here now.
Yeah, I actually have 4, 5. Well, I have a big backyard, so I have every day between 4 and 8 cats.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cat person.
How old's your daughter now?
She's 6.
Okay.
Yeah, this is already part of my life, and I was doing short films and most pictures of my cat. So it's better not to scroll down.
Okay.
Who knows what kind of stuff you'll see there.
All right. Yeah, every week when I have somebody on, I always ask my guests to send me 10 or 15 pictures so we can have it for the stream. How do you choose? You have so many. It's like, here, Jerry, go look here. So that's why I figured it'd be best just to share my screen, because you have so much stuff to look at. It's awesome.
I like how, when I find someone on Instagram, I like to scroll through all the entire profile just to see what he did before, because that person didn't start the profile just for the art or something. It's always like that. You get a bunch of family images. You kind of learn more about that person through their Instagram feed more than through Facebook, because
see what they're reposting and what kind of stuff they post.
Yeah.
Red Light, thank you very much. I got that filament in the mail. You're awesome. Thank you very much. I posted on Facebook and on Twitter, and I thanked you there. And I didn't know if you've seen it, but thank you very much. That's awesome. I appreciate it. I'm real low on filament and different things, so a few people in the community have sent me different things to try to help support my hobby and help pay for things.
Oh, well, Moses.
Wow, thank you very much for the $5.
Hey,
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, Moses is heavily into Prusa's also, and that'd be my next question. What are your favorite printers, and how many have you had? And tell us a little bit about your printers.
Like I said, I started with Annette, and after a few days, I don't think I've ever turned it on. I ordered CR10. I've noticed only after I ordered that one how dangerous that printer can be. So I spent first few months with CR10, and I had some issue also with that. So I decided that I'm gonna invest into Prusa because I heard all the good stuff about it, and actually from my perspective everything was correct because I'm really lazy when it comes to printers. My printers, when I assembled them, I never tweaked anything on them. They work from the day one. So I kind of became a Prusa fanboy. I only have Prusa printers. I have two MK3S and I have SL1. So I'm just hoping that for their XL version because I really want to start printing helmets.
I wonder how big it's going to be. Do you have any inside information you can share with us or no?
No.
Okay.
I heard some stuff, but no.
Yeah,
I don't know. I know that they are changing a lot of stuff all the time there because it's still a testing phase for them. So who knows what will be at the end.
Facebook user, if you're watching on Facebook, click the URL above the video and we'll see your name in chat and I can post it on the screen.
Janet is in fire.
Do you have
Actually,
a favorite?
my CR10 was the one that started smoking because I get that I bought the version that didn't have that stress relief bracket for the bed.
Oh, okay.
So that was my problem. Luckily, I was there when that stuff happened.
I had that happen on one of my CR10s twice, and I didn't resolder it well enough the second time. So I'd have bought a much larger soldering iron that TH3D recommended because the little soldering iron is dissipating the heat. I couldn't get it hot enough to get the joint loose. So I bought a great big monster soldering iron to get it real hot. And since I fixed it about a year ago, I've never had trouble since. That was on my second repair. Non-fam, auto drop, DB3D Dan. Anybody that I didn't say hi to, welcome. Zachary 3D Prince. El Moses. Lots of people.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite print that you've ever done, or are they all your favorite prints?
My favorite print, I honestly don't know. One of my favorite prints was my headphone holder. So like I said, practical stuff is always the best for me. But I don't know what I would say this one.
Thank you very much for the $10, HVAC. Thank you very much. Dan,
I would say
thank
this
you very
one
much.
because this one started it all. This one started my mini dude collection, and I remember I did it while I was at work.
Little
Came
Hellboy.
home, printed it in like 3 hours, and then my wife painted it in like span of 30 minutes, and it was like it was actually the second organic model that I've ever created. And because of that one, everything started for me.
Yeah, Yordi was my special guest last week. He's on his cell phone, and I guess he can't click the link. Hello, Yordi. How you doing? Yeah, Yordi has sent me he sent me 4 boards in the mail. 2 of them are Rambo boards. Another 2 are, I can't think of what they're called, but I got those in the mail, and then he made this for me. And I think he cut, is this laser cut, I think? He'll say here a minute in chat, but I'm pretty sure he cut that out on his laser. It's got a white backing.
Oh,
And it feels like it's kind of like a plastic type material, but it's really neat. So I'm considering getting a CO2 laser possibly soon. So, but yeah, thank you very much, Jordy.
About getting CNC or something new, but also at the same time, like, no, I don't have time for that kind of stuff. I would like to try different techniques. I know I've seen those few companies that have printers with the different heads that you can change. I don't know. I think that that would be potentially one of the problems for me, because I would start adjusting my designs toward that, so a lot of people couldn't use it or print my stuff.
Yeah, AutoDrop 3D. Now that I see your name, I remember who you are now, so I won't say, who's he? He jumped into my Hangout the other day, and he was on a few weeks ago explaining his process, where I guess people can order prints through his company and have them printed. And interesting, real interesting. Thank you very much for the $4.99. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Els Demon or Els Demon.
Els Venom.
Thank you very much. Let me share another screen here. Let's see. Make it full screen.
I'm just reading comments. Sweet creation face. Thank you, Fred.
Here's your Twitter page. Wekster's Geeky Stuff.
Yeah. That's one of top 3 places where you can see most of my stuff. See this model like it was in the video. It was Doc Brown and McFly, the simple version. I did that model in ZBrush. That was my first ZBrush model, and I didn't have tablet at that point, so I did everything with the mouse.
Mm-hmm.
This one. A lot of people ask me, can you model stuff with the mouse? Yeah, you can, but it's a really nightmare. See this diorama with Indiana Jones. If you scroll up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one. So I just made a mini dude, and entire diorama and the design was made by Fred. He's in the chat.
Thank you, Moses.
I like that kind of stuff here.
Very cool. Very nice. Awesome detail.
Yeah, and this little mini figurine, that's actually the guy who created the diorama. I made a mini of him during one stream.
This is your print you printed on your Prusa?
That was printed by Pete, actually. Okay. Also the guy in the chat.
Oh, I see up there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to read chat, listen to you, and click on pictures, and I get confused. Scroll down a little bit.
I was like, I never tweeted the chick in a bikini.
Yeah, these aren't all from you, so I'm trying to find something that's from you. Well, let me jump back out.
Yeah, if I start like stuttering right now, it's because there's a train passing, and sometimes that kind of disconnects my internet.
Uh-oh. How close are the tracks?
Let's say 20 meters.
Oh, wow.
It's actually not bad at all. I mean, I spent most of my life in the apartment. I was moving a lot, and I was always pissed with my neighbors. So trains passing few times per day is nothing. I actually prefer it because I'm still, as a kid, when it comes to trains, if I hear the train, I still go outside just to see what kind of train it is.
Let me share a screen again. Okay, this one's going to be Facebook. Wekster's Geeky Stuff.
Yeah, this is where mostly stuff from Instagram gets shared. So whoever is following me on Instagram and
If
here,
anybody showed up,
the same info.
if anybody came in the stream late, I showed his Instagram page that literally had hundreds of models. It was crazy, the amount of models. So please rewatch the stream later and check all them out.
Yeah, I didn't even know how many models I have at this point. We were trying to figure out how many mini dudes I've created in the past 2.5 years, and we think that I made between 70 and 100. I have really no clue.
Have you printed everything that you've designed or no?
Actually, I think I didn't print like 2 or 3 things for some reason. I cannot remember what, but once I remember it was because, I still had my CR10 and it was broken, so I couldn't print it. So I sent it to Chaos Core Tech. They printed it to test it if it's good or not. And that was, I think, my Rocketeer or something else. But yeah, sometimes when I make more models, I don't like, for example, these Weeping Angels that you just seen. I didn't print all of them because every time I printed one, my kid or my wife stole that from me. So I said, no, you won't.
This is your daughter here?
Yeah.
Nice mask.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to have someone smaller here. So when I don't measure the mask correctly, at least my cat or my daughter can wear it.
Well, hopefully, when she gets a little older, she'll be interested in what her dad does, and you can get her involved in doing all that you do.
Well, I hope so, because I can see the way how she's drawing stuff, and I see some kind of potential there. I see myself there.
John Luke?
Yeah. My patrons wanted that version because I made a normal version.
Worf?
Yeah.
Jordy, Picard, Data.
Yeah. See, and this background entire ship was also made by the dude who made that Indiana Jones diorama.
Wow.
Fred.
Yeah, I want to make a design a little mini me at some point and give it away on Thingiverse, but I haven't done it yet. And a few people that I've spoke to that do design they're just swamped, as you know, with doing it. So I have a tablet, I have a program. I just need to go do it. It'd probably only take me a couple of weeks. I could probably figure out how to make one little character myself.
I've seen actually a lot of people. They went on my channel. I had a few tutorials where I was showing how to make those in Fusion. So people just started there, and the other day, one guy sent me an email. He was asking me for a permission to use my type of design. He created some guy from, I don't know from where, but some singer, I think. So it's cool to see that people are taking that style and they're doing their own things, and it's great because I can see, like, okay, these parts are really close to the stuff I do. These are actually much better than I do, so maybe I could learn something from them. It's like sometimes people create something and they show me the better way to do something. I've also like adapted my design through years based on someone else's suggestions and some sketches and stuff.
AutoDrop 3D was wondering where he can buy the Star Trek models from.
Well, you cannot buy it. You can, I mean, people get it when they become my patrons. So that's the only way. I don't have that on any kind of store or anything. I'm basically giving away my models to those people who support me, because they are the ones that were pushing me to make all of that.
In
So
the description below, everybody, there's a link to his Patreon account and YouTube channel.
So on my Patreon, like they can still get most of my designs, most of my mini dudes. Like immediately when they join my Patreon in some specific tier, they will get all of my mini dudes, for example. For some people that's good. For some people that's a nightmare, because they immediately have a problem. They want to print all of them, but they don't have enough printers.
Yeah.
So they usually have to do something for their wives to
When I bought my first printer, it was like 2 months later, I found a reason to justify buying a second one. Now I have 11. So
I'm telling myself all the time, you don't need more printers. You don't need more printers. And that's true, because I really have issues with space right now. I printed so much of my stuff, only my stuff, that is slowly starting to cover even this room.
Yeah, I have 2 CR10s. One's in an enclosure for ABS when I do ABS. And I'm currently printing some ABS. I'm working on the Ghostbuster car, the last piece of the frame. I have, I think, 5 Ender 3s that I picked most of them up at auction used. I have an Ender 3 V2 Creality sent me to review. I've got a Hypercube from ZYLTECH 400 by 400 by 500 that I built. And what else do I got? And I got an Elgu Mars resin printer. So I'd like to buy a larger resin printer one of these days. Thank you very much, Dan, for the $20. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I still need to get a button set up on my Stream Deck so it plays music or something happens, and I don't want to stand up and dance every time I get a donation. But thank you. I really appreciate it. It helps out immensely. Hello, Walter. How you doing? Walter,
so
my friends here in Vegas.
Did you make the progress with Ecto 1? Do you have it next to you?
Yeah, let me go back out of here.
Yeah, I think
well,
my friends are gonna be happy to see that one. It's so great.
Oh,
that's a huge thing. Look at it.
From here back, I was printing the back half of the car, and then I had some bad filament or some gunk in it, and I had about 3 inches of garbage filament, so I had to stop the print. I dropped it in a net fab, and I guesstimated where to cut it at, and then I cut it, and I just got done about an hour ago, the back half. So I just got to line it up, make sure it's good to go, and then I can glue it. But yeah, it looks like it's very extremely heavy. It's about 3 foot long, and I still got to put the undercarriage on it, which here's part of the undercarriage right here, printed in ABS. And that's like, I printed that on a CR10 turned diagonally upright. So, it's pretty big. So it's going to be an extremely heavy car. It'll have, there's another man on YouTube and on my channel. His name is Matt Nicholas. He's doing the Ecto 1 also. I got the idea from him. He started a few weeks before I did, and he's already got it painted white. He hasn't done electronics yet, but he's getting there. And I'm kind of following his lead on doing the same car. Since anybody that's followed me over the last 4 years, I tend to print things bigger than normal. But yeah, this is going to be huge. I don't know where I'm going to put it when I get done, but I'm doing videos on it every so often. I do a video on progress.
Well, you are in Vegas, so whatever you do, don't put it outside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's PLA, and some parts are ABS. But yeah, it's dry heat in Vegas. It gets up to about 108, 115, 116 in the summer, but we don't have any humidity. So a lot of places in the country, I mean, when it's humid, you're soaking wet and sweating in the house. And we don't have that problem here in Vegas at all. It's dry heat. Very rarely have humidity. That kit's that hanging from the ceiling. And I do have a USS Enterprise, if you guys remember, that I printed a long time ago, but I've never finished painting it. It's not done. I want to put lights and LEDs in it also and hang that up. And then Betty Boop is my wife. They're making a comment. Don't know where he's going to display it. Yeah. Living room table, I guess. I don't know. Somewhere. Take up the whole living room table. So.
Well, that definitely needs to be somewhere visible to camera in the future, because it's a really cool thing. What else did you work on? I've seen what was it, Mandalorian?
Oh, let's see. I got a statue and I've got the helmet. Here's one of the statues. Tony Chambers on 3D Model Crowdfund had this commissioned, and it came out really nice. So
yeah, this is cool.
I'm a so-so painter. I'm not an expert. I'm not terrible, but I'm not an expert. I'm kind of from 1 to 10. I'll give myself a 4. So, and the bottom has like a sand base on it. I went to Hobby Lobby and I bought some glue. I forget that glue they use on models. You know, you paint over the models or the puzzles to hold them together. I put that on it and then I put sand on it, but it came out really good. My wife's got a few things in the bedroom and I've got stuff in the spare room. My son has tons of stuff.
Nice.
I could probably put it in a cabinet somewhere. Do you have any other hobbies that you've done? You'd like to talk any other hobbies that you might want to talk about?
Well, I don't really. I mean, I've entered the new problem for me in my life. One of the things that I was never good at was learning any kind of music instrument. So I bought a guitar like 2 months ago, and I regret that every day because I didn't make much improvement.
Well,
my fingers are hurting. I am trying every single day, but
work at it every day a little bit, and in a year you'll be jamming some Metallica for everybody or AC/DC. You know.
I mean that was the inspiration why I did my pumpkin guitar, dude.
Oh, those are the ones that Joel printed. He done duplicates and then had a problem on the nozzle on the right side. He thought it was a print.
Yeah, that was funny. Oh yeah, now it has the right color. I was like, why it's blue?
Yeah, it looks green and black from here.
Yeah, but first because I had like a green screen effect on for some reason. Everything that was green, it was actually a different color. I didn't even notice that until now. I was experimenting something with StreamYard. Yeah, Joel was really unlucky with that model, which is I mean it was funny for me. A lot of people thought that it's gonna be a bad thing for me, but I actually think people wanted to do that thing on their own to see if they can actually do it, since Joel had issues and a lot of people were sending me images how they were successful at it. But the funny thing was that this was actually simplified version, because I had a version that didn't have the thick lines at all. It had the smaller ones. You can see that these ones are much thicker. So like I was able to print this one, the first version, normally, but I was worried that a lot of people will not be able to print it. That's why I did the version that Joel tried.
And here's your YouTube channel. Let me share my screen again. We'll pull this up and show everybody. And here's your YouTube channel.
Yeah, like I said, there are some tutorials in Fusion at the beginning where I've showed and how to make some stuff. The simple one, I think the first one was it was this Earthworm Jim ray gun. That was the first thing. Then I did some tutorials, and later I started doing ZBrush tutorials.
Honestly, I have not watched them. I need to, and I apologize I haven't. I follow a lot of people, and
Well, no one can follow everything and see everything, so it's okay even if you don't see anything of that. But yeah, like the last video, I invited one of my friends to show me some new stuff in Fusion. He was creating one of the masks, the Bane mask. I use that channel to teach people something that I've learned in my own way, because I'm not a professional, and I like the approach that it's simple, that is showing stuff from the perspective of someone who doesn't know the software that well. But like just learned the basics, and that's how I did my ZBrush tutorial. I learned the basics, and I just wanted to share that, and apparently people like that kind of stuff. And
Walter, Walter says he can't get your pumpkin to print. I wonder why. Did you try resin, Walter, or 0.12 layer height on FDM, or?
Well, I so far I printed few and they were all successful. I know that some people have issues, but I'm not expert about printing. I know that I have everything. All of my printers are default, like stock versions, and I'm even using default profiles. That's the way how I like to test stuff. I'm not using any of the fancy profiles because I want to see what kind of result will get someone who is also like clueless about 3D printing as I am. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm using Prusa printers. ZYLTECH is turned on. Maybe that's something that I know that someone mentioned that as potential problem if someone has that turned off.
Geeky Faye had a vase that she done a while back, a twisty vase, and all the arms were separate. And I tried printing it 3 times on my TiVo and then on my Ender, and it kept screwing up about halfway up. And then somebody made a comment, turn on ZYLTECH, which I've never used before, and that fixed the problem because then the nozzle was lifting and going to each one instead of dragging and knocking it out of place. Yeah,
because if it's not, then it's gonna just hit on these taller areas, and I mean, the result is gonna be just like Joel's, I would say. But don't listen to me. Like I said, I'm using 3D printers, but I really don't have a clue about them. I'm that kind of guy. I've assembled 2, so I know how to fix some stuff on them, but I don't do that. Same goes with computers. I use them my entire life. That's like I work most of the time I spend on the computer, but I've never installed Windows, for example. I always have people who do that instead of me because I would probably mess something up.
Didn't you recently do a small mask that you designed?
Small mask.
Was there a mask or something you showed me recently?
Oh, yeah, it was the one made in resin.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something like I printed all of these as a normal size to fit my face, but sometimes I really like to print these small cute ones, and then I just pick some other model and I just slap it on the face. It makes me happy.
Very nice. Yeah, everything you own, if you ever have time, you should print everything small. When I first got into printing like 4 years ago, it's like, wow, I can make them big. So I started printing everything big. And as people have seen, I got kind of carried away with making things big. Originally, I was the designer Sanix, the first person I ever met, the first designer. And I started making everything 150%, which is like 12 to 15 inches tall. And I got, I got way too much stuff. So I should have done everything this size. Everything I owned, I should have done tiny. That way I'd still have plenty of room. And,
That's not tiny.
Well, to me, that's little. But okay. I don't remember what the scale is on that, but he's like, I don't know, 6 inches tall. So
yeah, that's like 200, I would say.
Here's my messy hobby room, everybody. This is where I'm currently sitting talking right now. It used to be a living room in my house. And behind the chair, you'll see a shelf down in the bottom. That's an 8-foot long table down there by the floor that's full of tons and tons and tons of models that need to be painted. And then on the shelves, I've got models. In the spare room, I've got models. I've got junk all over the place. And there's my hypercube there with an Ender 3 XL, which is 500 millimeters tall. I don't use it very often. And anyway, my spray box sitting next to it. And one thing really cool about having a spray booth, I bought a cheap Amazon box that you fold open, and they have a light in it. And then after about a year, things were too big for it. I went and got some plywood and I made a bigger box, 2 foot by 2 foot, and it has an LED in it. That works perfect. I go to the dollar store and I buy colored cardboard, and it's perfect for taking pictures and filming pictures. And my son's like, well, it's all dirty with paint. I said, well, you put the poster board in it, set your piece on it like you're filming a shot for a commercial, and then just take your angles, and it's perfect. So Multi-purpose.
I like to take pictures of my stuff, just random places, like mostly in this room, or I just go outside. It depends of the light and everything. Before, I was spending more time bringing my prints into my studio, so I was spending time taking pictures of that. I really don't have time these days for that. Like it's like I told you, I do a lot of stuff, so I need to manage my time. And it's like, okay, I could probably spend some time making nice pictures, but also that's the time that I could invest into my sculpting. So it's like, it always goes towards that. I usually spend more time sculpting than everything else these days.
Yeah, I'm just watching chat here. My room out back, David Petzel asked, I got it drywalled, insulated. I started taping it yesterday, put on my second coat taping mud today. I'll lightly sand it later, then I'm going to texture it, and I'll be ready to paint the wall tomorrow. And then I'm going to take my table that I showed you guys in the video that has all the prints close to the floor. I'll extend 2 of the legs, mount a 2x4 on the wall, and then I'll have a table to put out there to start moving all my paint supplies out there with. And then if I ever get a CO2 laser, I'll move that out in the room. And since I've got that exterior wall, I can bend it right off the wall right there with no big deal. Very simple. But yeah, anybody that wants to find Wekster, down below in the description, we have a link to his Patreon and his YouTube channel. You can also find him on Instagram and anywhere where you can find anything about models. Anywhere you're going to find him, he's everywhere. And he does a lot of great work, and everybody thinks you're awesome. So, anyway.
Except me.
Like my boss used to say at work, he goes, hey, everybody, hold your hand up in there. And everybody does it in the morning. He says, okay, now bend it backwards and pat yourself on the back. So, anyway, you do great work. So.
Thank you. I don't know, dude. I think you definitely need to start printing smaller because you will have a lot of issues with. I remember when I started 3D printing, it was just one table with 3D printer. Actually, it was the 3D printer was in my kitchen. My wife hated that, so I bought another table that I can put printer on. Then I started assembling more and more stuff, and I was in a room that was 3 meters by 1.5, and everything was filled with filament and printers and everything. And I was feeling like I was in some kind of cave. It's a nasty thing, definitely. In much of cases, when we started talking about these smaller masks, I was thinking like I should really start printing miniatures. It's gonna save so much space, and everything's gonna look so much nicer here.
Yeah, I think my biggest print I've ever done was a Spawn. I done at like 275%, and I can't show you here, but it's like, I don't know, 31 inches tall, something like that. The top of the sword, it's huge. And my Ecto car right now was probably taking about 11 rolls of filament plus all my resin prints. So I've got a ton of filament, and it's extremely heavy. If anybody in chat has any questions for Wekster, please feel free to ask. And as far as your other hobbies, you said you tried to get into guitar. Do you have anything else that you currently do or you like to do other than designing and printing?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of stuff that I would like to do, but I just don't have the time for it. I would love to start, playing around with casting stuff with just molds and see what I can do, play with resin, that kind of stuff. I have prepared. I bought a bunch of paints, and I have airbrush, and I would like to spend more time with that. Like those are all those things are something that really relaxes me, but also takes a lot of preparation for me. So I just cannot jump into that. I need to figure out some time for that. Like when I started doing 3D models, I stopped watching TV. Before 3D modeling, I was watching 15 different shows per week. Now I'm lucky if I see one episode of Star Trek in a week. Like I divide it into chunks because I just don't have time for anything else at the moment.
Yeah, when I binge watch, it burns up the day, and I'm retired. I'm 56 here in Las Vegas. And when people might think, oh, you're retired, that's great. No, it's not great. The days will fly by quicker. At least when you have a job, what do you do all day? You look at your watch. You're waiting to go home so you can do other things, and the day drags on. It takes forever. Well, when you're retired, it goes by that quick.
Well, I have a different problem. My job is mostly fun, except today. Today we were forced to do COVID tests because of one shoot we have with national handball team. But usually it's really fun. So my time flies like crazy, and it started going even faster when my kid got born. And it's like, man, the other day I've seen like Facebook showed me one of the images, one of the models that I did a year ago, and I was like, man, I thought that I did it like 3 months ago. It's insane.
I had an idea for Joel, and I guess he's busy with his other projects, but I mentioned that he takes his little mini Joel and he prints it on that big giant $4,000 printer, $40,000 printer that he borrowed from that company, that big one he has.
Yeah.
Cut the top off of this and make it an ice chest. Have like a big got or whatever ice chest in here where you can put soda, put beer, whatever, and then you put the head back on. So the head would interlock on top of the body, and you just pull the head off and you grab a soda or whatever, and then you put the top back on it. I think that would be perfect for something like this. If it was made real large.
I didn't ask him actually. Now you reminded me. I've seen that he printed like life-size legs of Mini Joel. I don't know if he was printing entire thing or not. I need to ask him what was with that. I remember that Noob was trying to print a big size of on the smallest printer he had. He made few pieces, but I think he stopped because of the COVID, and he started using all of his plastic to make shields at that point.
Yeah.
So I think he ditched that project. But I would really love to see the like big size version of that.
Well, the number one reason anybody would print something really huge is so people go wow. So and everybody goes wow. But
or really small.
Yeah.
Like I printed by mistake really small minifigurine. It was great. Like I was like, my print probably failed. I didn't even notice it was there, but it was tiny. So I was using my macro lens just to see how it looks.
Yeah, if you guys haven't subscribed to Wekster, please go over to YouTube, subscribe, follow him on Instagram, on Twitter. Check him out here, there, and everywhere. And please like and subscribe to this video. Please share this video. That'd be really great of you. And subscribe, ring the bell. I'm always doing live streams, and I try to keep coming out with new and current content. So always something.
I can see there's a comment from Andrew. Is there any modifier you have added to ZBrush? No, I didn't. I've only added it's a set of brushes that I really like. It's from Shane Olson. He's really famous in like whoever tried to do something with ZBrush has probably seen some of his stuff. He was one of the modelers that did those Disney Infinity figurines, the stylized ones. So yeah, that's the thing that I've only installed outside of the ZBrush. Everything else, I'm using my own stuff, and even brushes I like to create my own, because all the other stuff that is there, at this point when I'm still where I still feel that I'm total beginner at it, I like to use standard brushes. I don't like to use any kind of effects, any kind of that kind of stuff, because it's good because at first it just hides something. Like you put some kind of texture on top of your model and you think, oh, I did something good. No, if the base model is not good, everyone will see past any kind of fancy texture.
Do you have any recommendations for myself or people out there that might want to get involved in designing their own things? What program they might use, or pay as you go with ZBrush? Or
for ZBrush, I don't know. I would suggest that they check out my tutorial, and also they should check on YouTube Flip Normals or Polygon. Those are the people that they are really showing a lot of stuff. There's I'm not sure what's his name, Pavlovich guy. He's really great. I think he knows more about ZBrush than the creators. For Fusion, there are a lot of great tutorials out there, like mostly made by people from Autodesk. So I really don't know. Like, I couldn't pick anyone specific. Like, I think all of them can show you a lot of cool stuff. And yeah, it's Michael Pavlovich. So I think it's actually easier to find decent Fusion tutorials than ZBrush. There are a lot of ZBrush tutorials that are kind of people are trying to explain you something, but they have a lot of knowledge, so they are kind of skipping stuff, and they are forgetting that a lot of people are complete noobs and they want to see everything. You need to really explain them everything step by step. I know, like, even with my knowledge right now, when I'm watching some tutorials, I need to go almost frame by frame to see what some person clicked somewhere, because like, you can easily miss some stuff.
Can a person design something from scratch in ZBrush, and when they think they get it all done, drop it into a slicer and slice it? Or is there another step in between to get it ready before you can slice it?
ZBrush has it all. Like, you need to first, when you model it, you need to fuse everything together, so it's like a watertight model, or you will have some kind of errors in slicer. After that, you need to decimate it, which means that you need to reduce the amount of polygons, like I said, so it's much easier for slicer to handle. And all of that is like, there's a section in ZBrush where it has a lot of default plugins that are installed immediately, and one section is 3D printing, actually. So you can just adjust the height of your model, the size, and export it to STL, and then you just move it into slicer, and that's it. You can eventually, like, sometimes I like to check my models outside of the ZBrush, so I throw them into Mesh Mixer or NetFab or something like that. Even the 3D Builder in Windows is pretty good when it comes to fixing some kind of issues.
I've had models before I've printed in the past where when I drop it into S3D, for instance, it drops in crooked. And then I have to try to get it level on the bed. And there's other models I've dropped on the bed, and there's a lot of debris underneath it from whoever designed it, and I got to drop it through the bed and cut it when I slice it, because the bottom has junk all over it.
Yeah,
that level. They won't drop flat. In other words, they're like, I drop them in, they look flat, but when you look at it real close, it's still crooked. So I've got to try to straighten it and then drop it through the bed and recut it.
I can tell you that that stuff happens a lot. Like, I've explored a bunch of models, and I send them sometimes to my friends. They test them first, and I know that I've made perfectly flat bottom. I've used one object that was perfectly straight to cut the object, so it should be great. But when I decimated, it kind of switched some polygons and made like uneven ground. So then I just need to put it into slicer or mesh mixer and cut it again to be sure. I had few cases, but like I said, I mostly print stuff at 0.2 at the default size. So for me they look good, but some people like to, like you, scale their prints, and then all the issues show up. So it's like, I try to make my models like easy for everyone, but there's always some kind of problem, because I can say that something is support free, but someone is gonna decide to print it like huge, and then all the parameters, everything is changing, so it's not support free anymore. So it's like,
yeah,
these days.
I think you answered it earlier from Andrew. When you're on a tablet or a screen, do you look at your tablet, or are you looking at your monitor when you're drawing?
Yeah, because I have a graphic display, I look at that display, because I'm actually drawing on top of it.
Yeah. But if you had a black tablet, obviously you'd have to look at the screen and then
Yeah.
move your hand here while you look over here.
Yeah,
That would be
then
harder to do.
it's the same process as you holding a mouse. You're just watching at the screen and you're paying attention to wherever the dot is, the arrow or whatever, which is not that accurate when it comes to hand and eye coordination. So like that's the best step in modeling when you are actually sitting and doing it on a computer. Other step that I think it's going to be in the future is going to be the best one is actually VR. I remember the first time when I tried modeling something inside VR, it was completely different because you're next to that model, you feel it, you look at it from different perspectives, and it's like something that you can scale down and hold it in your hand in your virtual environment.
I have a Vive and an Odyssey, and I love VR. When it first came out, I paid $950 for the Vive, and it was worth every penny of it. You're in the game, you can see it, touch it, shoot it, whatever it may be. It's so awesome. It's hard to describe. And people that have tried VR where they took their cell phone and they threw it on the dumb little head thing, that's not VR. That's a complete joke. You feel like you're in the game. You're there. It's so awesome. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, like I've seen the Zane is doing a lot of his masks right now inside the VR, and I know he's having a lot of fun. Like I remember first time when I started drawing something, and we are all drawing in 2D space, like on piece of paper. That's something that we all grew up with. But then you actually move your hands towards you, and then you paint around you, and it's like mind blowing. It's completely different feeling. I love that.
There's a paint program that came with the Vive. I don't remember what it's called. I tinkered with it once, but you're basically drawing in midair right in front of you, and you can walk around it, through it. It's like it's right in front of you, and you're painting in midair. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's what it's called, Google something.
Yeah,
I did a review of a few different softwares. I used a bunch of those when I was still able to do stuff in VR. I get sick from it. Like I spent 10-15 minutes in it, and when I'm doing that kind of stuff, it's kind of okayish still. Only thing that I can play is Beat Saber, but if I need to move in that environment,
well, you have to teleport. You got to kind of click ahead, and then you're just there. If you're kind of walking in it, then it's disorienting if you're walking in it. But if you jump ahead, then it usually doesn't bother me.
All of that is bothering me a lot because sometimes I need to capture gameplay for a game trailer for my company. So usually my business partner needs to show up here, and then we record that. He's doing that, and I'm outside camera.
Okay. Yeah, a long time ago, I bought a bunch of green screen material to completely do my main computer room in green fabric. Then I bought an extra Vive controller to put on a webcam, and I was going to tape myself in VR and do videos. So when people watch it, they don't see a picture of the real me playing a game. They see me in VR, in the headgear, holding the gun. I just never pursued it, but I was going to do that. And then, unfortunately, I got into 3D printing, and then everything kind of went to shit from there. So,
when VR started, I was actually spending some time in Unity, so I did some quick shooter VR gaming. I spent like two months in that and like goofing around. It was really cool. Also, same stuff. I was trying to capture, and I was aligning actual recording and keying myself out. So I know entire process. It was pretty cool at the beginning.
I have a game called Elite Dangerous. I used to play quite a bit, and then when I got into 3D printing, I don't play it as much. But in VR, you really feel like you're in the spaceship, or there's a planet in front of you, or a space station, and the dimensions. It's just unbelievable how big things are. It's so cool. People think, oh, it's just a game. No, it's not just a game. It's more. If you tried it, you'd understand. It's for people that haven't. It's just unbelievable.
I was talking about that in one of my streams. I had a really weird experience in VR. I was in some kind of space simulation where something hit me, and I started rotating, I immediately got sick. so I wanted to just crouch, and my mind was strict that I didn't know how to crouch. I didn't know if I need to go up or down or left or
Wow.
right. I was reading about it. I think that's a pilot sickness. And but it's funny how you don't know what to do at that point, and you don't even figure out that you can just remove your headset and everything is gonna be gone at that point. It was crazy. It was one of the weirdest experience I ever had.
Well, I think that's about it. All for the questions. We've been streaming for an hour and 10 minutes now. So,
Already.
Do you have any teasers of any upcoming projects you're working on? You might want to talk about things you might be working on.
Well, I'm modeling Rambo bust. I wanted to do that for a very long time. I'm not ready to share it yet because I model I did something like 2 hours ago, and at that point, because I'm looking at the references and everything, when I'm doing like this, I can get easily tricked by watching something and noticing some pattern and everything, and then I kind of project what I've seen as a reference onto my model. But model is far from that. So at that point I either need to leave the model for a few hours and then I can see all the mistakes, or I just send it to someone else to tell me what's wrong. So I'm still not ready to share that. But I'm also thinking to make a mini Rambo version, so it matches everything. And I have some other plans, but I don't want to say it before I actually jump into that, because like I said, I'm doing everything that I like at that point. So sometimes I'm gonna start modeling something, then I'm gonna see something else, and then I'm gonna go into that direction. And I don't like to say I'm gonna do this and then completely forgot.
And people trying to hold you to it and say, "Well, you said this, you said that." Yeah. Well, anyway, Wekster, thank you very much for being on my stream today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Moses, $25. Thank you. He says, Rambo, yes.
Cool.
$25 donation. Thank you very much, El Moses. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Anyway, yeah, you're awesome. Maybe at some point in the future, I can have you back on another stream and we can talk more. But yeah, you're a great guy. Thank you very much for coming on today. And I'll be back with you here in 1 second. But everybody that's watching, you can find Wekster over on Instagram. His Patreon is listed below in the description. He's everywhere, and he has really awesome work. And please check it out. Please like and subscribe to him, and please like and subscribe to me. I'd appreciate it. But I'll be right back with you. So thank you very much.
See you. Bye-bye.
And that's going to be it, guys, for this week. Yeah, it was awesome having him on. And each and every week, I try to have really awesome people on from the community to talk about 3D printing and other things that they're doing in life. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming by and watching on Facebook and on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. I appreciate it. And all those people that donated to me today, I thank you very much. You're all very awesome. So until again, and I'll probably be doing a live stream on Friday or Saturday. I'll do a hangout where I go live, and the next week we'll see who I have on then. So thank you very much, everybody, and happy printing.